Welcome everyone to Creativity and the Paranormal. And today we have paranormal author Terry Segan joining us from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. How are you, Terry?
I'm good. How are you doing, Stara?
Pretty good. We're starting to cool down a little bit here in upstate New York. I'm 60 miles north of New York City in Beacon in the Hudson Valley. So,
Oh, nice. I grew up on Long Island and I was
oh,
just there a couple of weeks ago visiting my brother. So I am so jealous of the cooler weather. It hasn't quite hit here yet.
oh, right, right. Well, too bad I didn't see you. Oh, well, next time. As you can see, I know it's late September, but I'm already celebrating Halloween because I had to record the October ones early, right? Because there were a few podcasters, I'll explain real quick, and they get really busy in October. So for them to do an interview, I had to do it, decorate early, and it's too much to take down. So, honey, it's already Halloween.
That's okay. Halloween can go on for 2 or 3 months. I'm okay with that.
Oh, that's great. Yes, I love it. So, okay, I am going to begin by you supplied me with your bio, and then we're going to mention the blurb of one of your books. So, first of all, Terry Segan is, like you said, originally from
Comac.
Comac, New York, and she now resides in the desert, Las Vegas, where she'll never require an ice scraper or snow shovel. The beach is her happy place, but any opportunity to travel soothes her gypsy soul. The stories conjured by her imagination while riding backseat on her husband's motorcycle can be found throughout the pages of her paranormal mysteries. Growing up immersed in sarcastic humor and science fiction movies, Terry's goals are to cause her readers to laugh out loud, cry with joy, or cower beneath the covers, wondering if the noise under the bed was real or imagined. I love it. That's a great bio, actually. I should redo mine. So here we are. I'm going to read the tagline and blurb for your book, Spirit in Tow, and I see the cover behind you there.
Mm-hmm.
Spirit in Tow is the Marnie Legend Series Book 1, correct? Yes.
Yes.
So our quick tagline for Spirit in Tow is, can she help a lost soul jumpstart her love life and dispatch her nagging mother's spirit? We're going to find out. Marnie Legend is about to publish her 13th novel. Gus Zuckerman has been hanging around since his death in 1995. With her deadline looming and her recently deceased mother refusing to move on, can Marnie dispatch both spirits and still have time for romance? Armed with sarcasm and a warped sense of humor, her innate ability to stumble into awkward situations lands Marnie in the midst of a car theft ring. As her circle of friends becomes populated with felons and possible murderers, the lines blur around whom she can trust. Juggling a hot new beau with one hand and rekindling an old flame with the other, she may need to put on the brakes with one. Should she pick the probable criminal who may know Gus's fate, or play it safe with the sweetheart from her past? She'll need more than her special abilities and quick wit to navigate the twists and turns of this paranormal mystery. Oh, I love it. I'm glad I realized there was more on the other page. I had to turn the page.
Nope, that was it. Yeah.
Okay, so that's Spirit in Tow. And before we go forward, I'm going to share my spooky mug. This is a brand new one I got. I
Sleepy Hollow.
know. I only live 45 minutes north of Sleepy Hollow, New York. I go past it on the train every day to the day job. So, and there's the inside's orange, and I like that they have it on both sides. And it says the Headless Horseman since 1820, New York, Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, how fun. I know I have driven through that town
Uh-huh.
before. Just such a beautiful area. And I have my mug. I don't really have a Halloween mug, but
That's okay.
this kind of reminds me of a spooky witch's cauldron. It came
Yeah.
from the Campfire Hotel in Oregon, but
Oh,
I'll go with this
nice.
side.
And also you tell spooky tales around the campfire too. So
Yes, that's right. It could
that's
be perfect.
perfect. So thank you for sharing. Oh, and I got new ghost earrings. I got them from the Oregon Ghost Conference. I went to last
Oh,
March
fun.
with my sisters. So, and a friend gave me this little witch brooch, and she has a magic wand. So we're gonna make some magic, you know.
You've got all kinds of accessories. I do have
Yeah.
my one Halloween earrings. They're Minnie Mouse dressed as a witch
Oh,
on a
that's so
broom.
cute. Oh, thank you for putting them on. I love it. So, I'm going to talk more about the titles behind you, but let's kick it off with what is it about the paranormal genre that inspires you to write in that category?
Well, I've always been drawn to it as a kid. I loved creepy movies. I love to be scared. I'm the one that sits in the dark watching scary movies with the lights out. And then I just scare myself silly, but it's fun. And I've always been drawn to
Yes.
that genre. And it's not just, vampires, werewolves, I ghosts, it's time travel. It can be pretty much, a fantasy, anything in that realm. And then also as a fun side note, my last name's Segan. Actually, in Russian, where Grandpa came from, in Russian it means gypsy. So I'd like to
Oh,
hope that there's some kind of clairvoyant vibes going on. I haven't found them
yes.
yet, but I'm still searching. So,
Yes.
and I've even had a tarot card reader once tell me that I'm psychic. And again, maybe that's going to kick in later life. I haven't seen it yet, other than intuition, but here's hoping.
Oh, yeah. No, intuition is fabulous. It saves people from dreadful things that could have happened, you know.
Yes.
But well, that's great. I'm sorry, I'm losing my thing here. So anyway, costume problems. Now, this is one of my favorite questions, actually. Do you have a favorite paranormal movie or TV show now or when growing up?
Well, and I can see your poster behind you. Hocus Pocus is one of my favorite. And so is Practical Magic. And one thing that I love about Hocus Pocus, besides it's just such a classic to watch every year. And
Yeah.
a few years ago, my older daughter and I actually got to go to Salem and tour around and see
Oh,
some of the
yeah.
locations where it was filmed. But then another fun thing is it's also a tradition. I have two adult daughters, and every used to be every October we would get together, do a little wine and charcuterie, and watch Hocus Pocus. That's our Halloween
Oh,
tradition. And because they both travel for a living quite a bit, we just did that in August. So, like I had said
oh,
before,
nice.
Halloween can go on for 2 or 3 months, and that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, I love Hocus Pocus. And I actually enjoyed Hocus Pocus too, also.
I
The
did see that. Yeah, that was
sequel.
fun seeing them come back again and have a whole new
Yes.
story.
I just heard they're gonna do a Hocus Pocus 3.
Are they really with
Yeah.
the same cast?
I guess, but if you notice, at the very end of Hocus Pocus 2, remember that bird that was following three girls in the last shot? I just saw
Mhm.
it. I saw it the other day because I was working on my computer. I like to have something in the background sometimes, and that was um, Hannah Waddingham, the actress that was in Ted Lasso. She at the very beginning, the blonde haired when they were little girls, she was gonna attack them, and then she realized that they are witches and gave them the book. It was at the
Mhm.
beginning of Hocus Pocus 2. So it's interesting, and she turned into that big bird, and the big bird was following the new three young witches. So I thought, as a
Oh,
writer, of
right.
course, we think, oh, there's an opening there for a third one, and they're gonna do it. Maybe it'll be something else, but I found it very interesting.
Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing that when they come out with it.
Yeah, of course, everyone's on strike and they can't do it yet. But as soon as
Yeah.
they get that straightened out, the big boys just have to, they just have to come around. Don't even get started. Anyway, so we will continue. Have you ever seen a ghost or experienced something unusual that's supernatural?
Sadly, I have not. And
Oh,
since I
sadly.
try to travel quite a bit, I've gone on a lot of ghost tours. I've gone in York in the UK,
Oh yeah.
New Orleans, of course, Salem, Massachusetts when
Yes.
I was there. And
Yes.
I haven't actually gotten to experience one other than I did tour the Stanley Hotel this summer,
Oh,
and which was the inspiration for The Shining for Stephen
yes.
King. And
Yes.
while we were going on the tour, the one room that held the bar, um, that it's no longer a bar, but it was a bar when Stephen King was there, and then of course for the
Oh.
movie. And there was a heaviness in that room as soon as I stepped in. And then when the tour guide started giving her spiel, that's one of the things she mentioned, that many of the guests that enter that room feel a heaviness.
Oh, wow. And you felt it before she even said it, right? Oh my goodness.
Yes, I
Yeah.
did. So that's as close as I've come. Though again, I do believe my brother actually, who still lives on Long Island, had a great well, wasn't great for him, but he works for a contractor, was alone in the customer's house, and he was down in the basement working by the electrical panel, and he heard someone behind his shoulder stifle a giggle, and he thought it was his boss, and when he turned around, there was no one there, and then the lights went out, and he
Oh my
bolted
God.
upstairs and out of the house, and he looked up in the second story window. There was an old man staring at him. And
Wow.
the next day the owner pulled him aside when he showed up for work and said, "I see you've met Clarence."
Oh
So apparently it was a spirit
no.
who's
Oh
just
my
very
gosh.
playful. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I live vicariously through him on that experience, something he'd never like to have again.
I bet he hopes he doesn't go to another house like that one.
No.
That's so cute though. Oh, now before I go to the next question, I just finished because I'm preparing blog posts. I do the 31 days of Halloween.
Yes, I love
To
that.
oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I got the idea. Well, I mean, it's totally different. It's totally different. I'm not stealing anything, but on Freeform, the ABC Family channel used to be ABC Family. They do the 31 nights of Halloween, and they show all the spooky movies right on the Freeform channel on cable. So I'm like, oh, the 31 nights of Halloween. Oh, why don't I do, because my book came out, Bay of Darkness, Paranormal book,
Mhm.
October 2nd, 2019. So in like early September, I was scrambling. So I have a blog post each day about something that's Halloween or spooky or something like that, and it's hosted by one of the characters in my book. So I just finished a post on the Stanley Hotel, and the title
Oh,
is "The Shining Stanley Hotel." And I was like, why haven't I posted on this one yet? So I just finished that last night.
how cool. And now have
Yeah.
you actually gotten to visit it?
Not yet, but I would love to. Yes, I definitely want to. And I just did the haunted pubs, some haunted pubs of New York City, and they're really old ones where George Washington was there, like 1700s and stuff. So I want to. At least I'm here to go to some of those. I want to go.
Yeah, that's very close to you.
Yeah.
Oh, what a cool tour.
So yeah, but one day the Stanley, that'd be great. So what advice would you give for aspiring authors, writers? And I'm thinking you can give any advice you want, but I'm sort of thinking in the vein of someone who's writing their manuscript and they're polishing it up and they want to submit it to an agent or editor, publisher, that type of thing.
Um, Honestly, the best advice I could give someone is join a writers group and have other people give their read and give their
Yeah.
perspective on it. And I mean, it not doesn't necessarily further to who to apply to as far as publishers and agents, but it gets you on the steps to doing that. I feel it expands your mind on your writing skills, because a lot of times as writers, we've read our manuscripts so many times, we know what's supposed to be there or what we're thinking, and we don't always realize maybe I didn't hit the mark on that until
Yeah.
someone else reads it. So for me, the most valuable thing I've done is, like they say, find your tribe. I found a
Yeah.
wonderful writers group about 6 years ago. And even, it took me a few weeks to get up the nerve to read my stuff, but the longer it takes you to share your stuff with other people, the longer it's going to take you to improve and to
Oh
learn
yeah.
more about
Yeah.
it.
That's wonderful. No, that's great. I'm glad that they have, that they're out there for people to join, you know. And I know
Mhm.
I had a negative experience in the past. I won't go into details. I talked about it on one of the early ones. And not to be complainy or anything, but it's well, what you said is totally fabulous. I'm glad you found a great one. But when people are reaching out, just make sure that it's one that, and that's the only thing I would say, add to it, right? Is that make sure it's one that is resonates with you, you know?
Yes, well, and it has to be a positive atmosphere.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
I mean,
I
you'll still
have
get
gone,
critiques.
yeah, I have gotten, like, this one has been wonderful, and I thought I would try going to another one also just to get a different view, get some different opinions. And they weren't, it was almost accusatory as opposed to
Oh no,
positive feedback. And so I
yeah,
tried it a couple times and then I emailed the moderator and said, what, this isn't a good fit for me. And that's
right.
okay. You have
Yes,
to do
okay.
what's best for you. Yeah.
So you had a similar thing to me, exactly. Yeah. So it's always good to find a good group for you. So where am I at here? Oh, okay. So I just throw this out as an optional kind of question because sometimes people have something to say, sometimes they don't. What would you say to naysayers along the way, whether it be no names, but whether it be family or friends or sort of people you work with, like you're on your creative path, your creative journey, and sometimes there's naysayers around, and have you ever had to deal with that? And if so, how do you deal with
Well, my first reaction is to tell them they'll be the next chalk outline in my book.
it?
But I just say my
Clever.
writing's not for everyone.
Yeah.
And if it's, and if you don't think
Right.
that I'm going to achieve my goal or anything. I've never had anybody say your writing's terrible, give up, which
Yeah.
is which is a good thing. But everybody's welcome to their opinion. I mean, and I've come across books too that it's just it's not a bad book. It's just it's not something for me. And so my writing's
Right.
not for everyone. And you kind of have to they always say you have to kind of harden your shell because
Yeah.
there's there's always going to be someone that doesn't like your writing. But I've found that there's a lot of people that like my writing, and that
Yes.
encourages me to keep going.
Yeah. And that's something I keep reminding myself about too, is you find your niche. I'm paranormal author, your paranormal author. And there's also those subsets like paranormal romance authors, which is a little different. I mean, mine has a lot of romance. Your probably does too. There's always some love in it. There's some love in the book, obviously.
Hmm.
But paranormal romance, that's like their whole main focus, which is great too. I mean, that's wonderful too. And so yeah, finding your audience. I just want to share this really quickly. I was listening to a podcast coming up in the train on Friday, and Jack Canfield, the co-author of all the Chicken Soup for the Soul books,
Yes.
$1 million, bestsellers and all that. So it was a speech that he had given, and they put it into a podcast. And he said there was, gosh, I don't know her name. I'm so sorry. Okay, so you guys can look it up. There was a girl who got a writing scholarship to Harvard University. So she's all excited. I guess she had written in high school. She got the scholarship, right? Somehow she got the scholarship, right? So her first writing class, I guess there was a guest professor. Oh no, it could have been a different school, and he was from Harvard. The professor was a Harvard professor. He was visiting, and he said, "You can't write." He said she got an F. You can't write, and she goes,
Ooh.
"What do you mean?" She goes, "No, you should find something else." And then she goes, "But I'm here on a writing scholarship. If you give me an F, I won't get my scholarship." He goes, "Okay, I tell you what, you drop my class, you choose something else, and you can still, kind of keep your scholarship or whatever, but, don't try to write." So I guess she got through her schooling and like, I don't know, 15 years later, something like that. I'm paraphrasing her. She's back in Ohio or something, and she's doing something else. I don't know what it was. And she heard they were filming a movie nearby. So they went over, her and her friends, to kind of check it out, right? And so there were all these big, actors and stuff. But she went over to the writers and she was talking to the writers, and they were like, "Why are you talking to us? You got these big actors over there, get a signature." She goes, "No, no, I'm a writer, but I wasn't able to do it." And the guy goes, "Why?" And she told him the story, and he goes, "Oh, that's ridiculous. Right here's my email. Write me something, send it to me."
Nice.
So she goes off, writes a book, sends it to him. He gives it to a publisher, and it's published. And I don't think okay, it was either a first book or a second one. Anyway, the book became Romancing the Stone. And they
Oh,
made a
wow.
movie at it. And then she wrote another book, Jewel of the Nile, another movie. And this is a woman who was told by her professor that she couldn't write, and she had to change her major, to keep her scholarship. So there you go.
I'm so glad she ran into that writer that gave her
Yeah,
positive feedback and options. Yeah. Uh, that would annoy me about that professor.
I
Just,
know.
oh, that's sad. I'm glad
Yeah.
she persisted because that was one of my favorite movies too. Now that you mentioned
Oh
Romancing the
yeah.
Stone was awesome.
Both those movies, I loved them. I loved them.
Yeah.
But okay, so here we are with the moments we have left. Would you like to give any last thoughts or comments and tell us about anything new that you're working on?
Well,
There we go.
actually, I've finished one. I'm ready. I've got visual aids. Oh, it's
Yeah,
behind me too. So this is the Marnie Legend book 2, Manatee Soul. And
the
in
one
this
after
book,
Spirit Toe. Sorry, go ahead.
oh yeah, in Spirit and Tow, Marnie's the main character, and we meet her sister Gloria, and they're kind of a little at odds as siblings are.
Oh,
So
okay.
in Manatee Soul, in an effort to bond and get closer, they go on a girls' trip to Florida.
Oh,
And while
nice.
they're there, Phil finds them, who had died in a diving accident the year before. And he's an older man, kind of snarky, obnoxious, and demanding that he help them. And Gloria's not so receptive. Marnie is resigned to the fact that this is her life. And so they go from there, and the two get into some clever antics.
I love it. So they can both see dead people.
We find out, yes.
Yeah, Marty Anderson. I love that. No, I love that. I mean, I was a huge fan of Medium. I know that's different. That's police procedure too, but Medium with Patricia Arquette on
Oh,
NBC
yes.
years ago, and Alison Dubois, who was shaped after. She has a podcast too and everything. But to have two sisters together helping a ghost and resolve stuff and mystery, I love that. I love it. So
Yeah, and there is a little romance. My books do have kind of a
yeah,
sideline of romance. It's not the
yeah.
main focus because, again, like what we were chatting earlier, I have done one romance, but it's which traditional romance, and it's very difficult for me to do because I just want to kill characters off in the end. That's
Yeah.
just how I write. So in this one, yeah, we get it's more of a mystery with the little sideline of sibling rivalry and romance.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. When does it come out?
It comes out October 16th, but it's currently available for pre-sale already.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, like I said, my first book came out in October as well, and I just love it when it comes out during the
Perfect.
spooky season. That's
Yes.
perfect. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, congratulations. And
Thank
I want to read both of them, so I'm going to put them on my list, put them on my list. So anyway, thank you, Terry, for being here on Creativity and the Paranormal.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
And I love
So
the
have
black
a
cat.
great spooky season.
Yes. And I'm loving your black cat too on the back.
Oh, thank you.
Creeping what? Creeping.
Creeping it
Oh,
real.
creeping it real. Oh, I love it. Okay, good. I'm glad we got to mention that before we went. And of course, happy Halloween, everybody. All right. We will see you next time.